Hey guys, what's up? It's Terradog. Welcome back to GT Sport episode 43. So this video is a little old, maybe, I don't know, 2.5, 3 weeks. This was, I think, maybe my second day attempting sport mode on the wheel, and probably my second attempt at this particular event, which was my first attempt running Event C on the wheel. So here we're just going to go and take a look at my qualifying lap. Running the, if you can't already tell, it's the 8.6 Group 4 race car around Central Outer Loop. Central Outer Loop East, that is. This car just handles really well, as you can see. You put your foot down, and it just takes the corners, and it doesn't care. So that was something that was really nice about this car. I'd never driven this car before. I thought, well, let me try it, since my normal Group 4 cars seem a little iffy on the wheel, because I wasn't used to it at the time. I'm still working on it. Alright, so now we're into the race. So, yep, there I am. I managed to qualify second, as you can see. So it was a pretty decent lap. 11 laps here. But you're going to see what I'm going to do. I'm going to run for a strategy of not pitting at all. Now, I had figured out in a race prior to this one that this could be done. It was feasible as long as your fuel is saved enough. You have to maintain a certain pace that puts you no more than something like 8 seconds behind the lead car, so that you can end up overtaking the car before it exits the pit. So it's kind of difficult balancing to make this really work. So here I start aggressive because, well, everyone else does. You're going to see here, I'm going to hold back. Even though I could stick my nose in, I'm going to hold back and wait. What we see is the McGann, at the time of this recording anyway, you know, it could be different BOP by the time you see this, but the McGann is kind of struggling with the corners compared to the 8.6. So I'm going to keep that in mind for later. You know, that's a really good thing, because if all I have to do is get in front of a McGann while it's in the pit, that means maybe I can make up for having worn tires. Still be close enough to matching its performance. Here, I'm trying to push a little too hard. Alright, so now, checking the fuel. Keep in mind, this is post-commentary, so I'm just trying to remember what's going on here. So I just dialed the mixture up back to 4, leading this thing out. So now I'm staying roughly in the middle between the car in front and the car behind, but, well, I had a few mistakes, so I'm falling back a little bit. And he's just going to dive bomb his way through me. That's nice. Alright, so let's switch to the replay camera in a second here. And we get right here. Should be interesting. See, for a while I'm gonna kind of sort of keep up with this car. I say kind of sort of, I'm dropping back. Now, what we don't see from this view is if I'm adjusting fuel setting or whatever. But we do see the gap is roughly being maintained. Maybe I'm closing it a little bit, actually. A little bit. Cars behind are gaining. It's actually a nice little three-way battle behind me. As you can see, not a whole lot happening here. That's just kind of the way a race goes sometimes. We're all running... Well, I'm running a different strategy than most of the other cars here. We should be on to lap 4 now, if I'm counting correctly. Let's switch back to the onboard. Just a second here. Right about now. Alright, so now what's interesting here is we can look at the car ahead and see that it has a penalty now. It didn't get that penalty from dive bombing me. It must have gotten it from wall riding or something. We just didn't see that in the replay camera footage, or we might have seen it, but you know, it doesn't show the penalty. So see, I'm double checking my remaining fuel, making sure I have enough fuel to complete the race. Trying to figure out if I need to change setting or not. It was a delicate balancing act, because you had the fuel to save enough for the strategy to work. You had the fuel to save enough to be able to complete the race. But you have to not sacrifice so much speed that you start losing positions. That it ends up being slower than actually pitting. See the car ahead, it continues to pull away, and that's fine. The leader continues to pull away, and that's fine. At the end of the next lap, the end of lap 6, they are probably going to pit. I'm on setting 5, I got it dialed way back. Almost as lean as it can go. But if you look at my tire wear, there isn't that much. There isn't that much, so things are looking pretty good. But I am trying to manage a gap here, so I'm going to make it rich a little bit here and there. I'm just going to try and fine-tune it a little bit throughout the race, the fuel mixture. As we see, the lead car has just gone into the pit. The car in front has gone into, or no, the car in front of me has not pitted. So I am now ahead of the person who was leading. So that is an off-track overtake. So we only have about like 10% more fuel than the cars that are pitting at this point as well. Not even. So now that car has exited the pit. They're back on track, and they're 4 seconds behind me, and I have to manage that gap for the rest of the race. Naturally, the pressure is building. We got a lap down car here. Now the next car has gone into the pit, so now I am into the lead. All I have to do is make sure the car behind, that McGann, can't catch up to me. Look at how low that fuel is, 13%, 19, 11, and I'm still sitting around 45 on lap 8. Now the tire wear is starting to become an issue. It's still not that bad, but it's enough. It's difficult to push at the same pace. It kind of can't really be done. You have to let off just a little bit, or crash into the wall. So that McGann is gaining on me. And what I'm trying to do at this point is, the idea is, sure, it's going to gain on me because it has fresh tires. That makes sense. The hope is that the performance of the 8.6 will balance out enough that the McGann won't gain on me fast enough. So I'm getting a little bit desperate here, starting to enrich in that fuel mixture a little more. Play around with it, make it rich, a little rich in some areas, and then back to lead in other areas. Just to try to maximize what I can. Alright, so let's make this a little more interesting. We're going back to the replay view. Alright, so that McGann is very quickly gaining on me. Well, not very quickly. It's been steady, but it's starting to get close. It's so close. We're so closely in the race, and the McGann is getting so close to closing the gap on my rear end. So things are tight here. Alright, so I made a mistake in that final corner there. The pressure's really on. Coming into the start of lap 10. And now it's a desperate battle to defend my position because I know the car behind has fresh tires, or not necessarily fresh anymore, but they're in better condition. I know I need to not mess up. but I also can't necessarily outpace it in this situation here. So, you know, defensive lines and all that, gotta make it work. So I'm sticking to the inside of the entry while he's on my bumper, or she, or whatever. And I'm not even worried about the cars behind gaining on us from our battling, because I pulled so far ahead with my strategy that it doesn't matter. Alright, until app 11. Alright, watch here. This is where things start to get really interesting, okay? So, McGann decides, well, since I can't go for the inside, let's go for the outside. Of course, I don't realize it's up next to me until it's too late. It ends up squeezing its nose in where it's not safe to do so, and there's nothing that can be done about it, but the game gives me a penalty. So, well, now it's a matter of try to get to the finish line first, bleed off that penalty, and still win. Because, obviously, I don't deserve this penalty. That car was behind me. That car was responsible for making the pass clean without contact. I should not be at fault for that, because I was in front. I couldn't really focus too much on what the car was doing, because I was negotiating the corner. Whereas that car can see me in the corner at the same time. Alright, so here we go. Coming around into the final corner, down on fumes. And he's gonna dive bomb me. And that, we can see, or she, whatever, you can see that car also has a penalty. And then it tried to block me at the end while ghosted. So it failed. Now, let's watch this again. This is just absolutely hilarious. Let's see this again. Alright, so here we are again, coming into the final corner, the final lap. Again, dive bombs. Alright, now watch slow motion here. This is the greatest finish I've ever. Okay, so I'm on the brake to serve my penalty. McGann's on the brakes to serve its penalty. I'm off the brake. I'm done my penalty. McGann swerves over, tries to block, but it's ghosted, so it doesn't work, and I win. Beautiful finish right there. Oh man, that's just absolutely hilarious. So normally when I have a video just sitting on my hard drive, just getting old, I decide after like a couple weeks or whatever, well, if I haven't gotten around to editing it and uploading, that oh well, it's not relevant anymore, so just delete it and forget it. But with this, I just couldn't bring myself to do that, just because of that finish. Everything came down to that, and just absolutely beautiful. So yeah, it's a very narrow track. So defending, if you're defending, it's pretty easy to defend, I think, but it's still, the pressure's on. So at the same time, with overtaking, it's not easy. So oh yeah, my 40th win that day. Great, awesome. So yeah, and it's very difficult to actually make an overtake with it being so narrow, with it, you know, just walls. So if you're up against someone that has a good defensive line, it's pretty much almost impossible to get in front. But still, that ghosted blocking attempt, oh man, I can't get enough of that. That was great. Alright, so that's gonna do it for this video. See you guys next time. Goodbye.